welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Today we're talking about Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 14, episode number 4.
Mm-hmm.
We start out with Marge and Joe. They go on a motorcycle ride.
I thought Joe was very sweet when she was talking about Jan.
Yeah, I did too. I don't think I knew that they rode motorcycles. I don't think we knew that, did we?
Maybe Joe, but I don't think we've ever seen Marge on the back of it.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're there. They go out to this place called the filling station, having a little bite to eat. And they're talking about Jenn Fessler and how she had talked shit about Louis to Margaret. And then, she kind of felt betrayed by her when all of a sudden now she's, sitting there with Teresa and saying, it's all good.
Yep. I like her. I like Teresa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's not saying don't like Teresa. Margaret's not saying that. She's just saying, listen, she came after her husband, fiance at the time, it was her husband at the time. Her husband at the time came after my son.
Yeah.
And
I don't fuck with people who threaten my friends or their kids. Right. I just don't.
Exactly.
And it's ridiculous if you do.
Right.
It's not spreading, like, it's not what she did to Evan and Jackie or what she's doing to John and Rachel. She threatened her child.
Right.
He threatened her child. I'm sorry.
Right. No, but you're right. 100%. I 100% agree. And then Margaret's also talking about how she's upset with Jackie, that, Jackie gave her book to Melissa. She gave her book to Jenn Fessler. And, she wants the book. Why, Melissa doesn't even read. I mean, I get why she gave it to Melissa because she was going to be on the podcast promoting it. But still, just give her a copy of the book.
I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of feel like Marge is what do you call it? Spinning this out of,
blowing it out of proportion.
Jesus, I couldn't think of that. But I do think that there's some underlying disappointment with her because she's not reaching out to her about Jan. But I have to be honest, I don't like when people judge how someone grieves a loss, and I don't like when someone judges how your friends react to you when you have a loss. I think that losses are very personal, and if Jackie's not a good friend, Jackie's not a good friend. But Jackie not calling her on the anniversary of Jan's passing, to me, that's not grounds to say you're not being a good friend.
Right. No, I agree with you.
If you haven't called me in a year since it happened or checked in on me in a year, okay.
Right.
But I don't know. It does seem like Margaret, there's something underlying here with Margaret and Jackie, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think there's something underlying. I mean, we've seen, this is the 4th episode now, but we've seen already that Margaret is really struggling with the loss of Jan.
Yeah.
And she's made that pretty evident. And I think that it didn't hit her at the time because she was just in mom mode and making sure she was strong for her kids
her
and
son,
everyone around her. And now that it's kind of had time to settle and it's on the year anniversary, I think now it's really hitting her of what a big part of her life he was, even though they were divorced. And I think it's very stand up that her, Joe, her husband now, is supporting her. And like, listen, I can't fix this, but I can be here for you. There's nothing really I can do except for be here for you.
Right.
Which I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Then Rachel calls up Jenn Fessler so that they can talk because she hasn't talked to her since, Jenn Fessler left the shore annoyed. So as soon as Jenn Fessler gets there, Rachel, you can see how emotional she is. She starts crying. I mean,
I felt so bad for her. I really felt bad for her because she probably tried to keep it together because she was on camera, but she's clearly very hurt.
Yes, you can see that she really thought more of that friendship than Jen did. And you could see how it's affecting her by just her crying. And Jenn Fessler's kind of like, I don't know why you're crying. Well, maybe that's part of the problem, you know?
Exactly. Like, I really think that Rachel thinks, like, I can't trust her now. Like, the trust is gone. So that once your trust is gone, it changes a friendship forever. You can never get back to where you were. And I think that's what Rachel's struggling with. Like, we'll never be what I thought we were. And that's hurtful.
Yeah. Exactly. And, that's kind of what Rachel is. Jenn is kind of dismissive to her, the fact that she is crying. I mean, she even says, like, I don't know why you're so upset about this. Well, she's so upset about it because she thought that you guys really had each other's back. You really understood each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you what he did, coming for my husband, coming for his baby mama when we were trying to, adopt Jaden. And that's not cool. That's
No.
not cool.
Normal people don't do that. Normal people don't reach out to someone who, because, Teresa said, I think he's a great father now. No, I wasn't saying that. Bullshit. Because if you really thought that, you would not have reached out to his ex in jail to get dirt on him to fuck with his adoption.
Right.
His kid's adoption.
Exactly.
Normal people don't do that.
Exactly. And you don't go into a party saying that he's the biggest drug dealer in Patterson.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't do that. I didn't mean now. No, I didn't mean now.
Yeah, she's full of shit.
Right. She is full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And for Jenn Fessler not to have Rachel's back on that.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And that's why Rachel's crying. And the fact that Jenn doesn't understand it,
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand Jenn Fessler. I've been watching some interviews that she's been doing, and she's talking out of both sides of her mouth.
Exactly.
Same thing with Jackie. I feel the same thing with Jackie. I can't imagine that I'm going to see anything. I'm open-minded to it, but I can't imagine I'm going to see anything different throughout this season that's going to make me change my mind about what's going on with these two.
I don't think we'll be seeing Jackie after this season. And I have a strong feeling we won't be seeing Jenn Fessler either. I think Jenn Fessler's really, Jackie just looks thirsty AF.
Mm-hmm.
It is so clear. Whether your friendship with Marge was, broken or whatever, you just look thirsty, and she'll be gone. I really don't think we're going to see Jenn Fessler. I think Jenn Fessler's really painting herself in a poor light, like you said, talking out of both sides of her mouth.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
No, you're just trying to play both sides so you have a spot. That's not the way to get the spot. It's almost like you got to do the opposite of that. You cannot ride the fence with these two groups.
No, you absolutely can't.
No.
Unless you're Delores. And Delores isn't riding the fence. She's not taking any side.
Right.
She's not taking any side.
Right. Although, well, let's get there. But neither Jenn nor Delores called Teresa out for saying Marg was a dog at Jennifer's house. Shame on both. Shame on everybody sitting at that table who didn't say to Teresa, that's not nice. That's attacking her appearance like you do all the time. Stop it.
Yeah, but you could see they did not call it out. At least we didn't see them call it out. But you could tell by the look on everyone's face at the table that nobody agreed with what she said. I mean, it was
but say it. Say you're wrong for saying that. Jenn Fessler. I don't know.
Listen, Gia was at that table too. I knew you were going to say that.
The last thing I want to watch is Jenn Aydin's spoiled daughter's dog's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
Or Gia or Jackie. I don't want to see any of them. Get them all off the show. Why is Jennifer Aydin's little girl on there? She's a spoiled little brat. I can't stomach it. And Gia. Really, Gia? You want to come sit at a little girl's dog's birthday party? That's what you want to do? And then you're going to sit there and try to convince everybody that Louie's a normal person?
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's get there.
So then we're at the birthday party, right? They're at the birthday party. Dolores shows up and she says that she has 10 dogs to choose from between her dogs, her mother's dogs, her daughter's dogs, and Frank's dogs.
Frank's dogs, yeah.
Right, but whatever. She chose her newest dog to bring. Who else brought a dog? Gia brought a dog. Jackie?
Yeah, Gia brought Teresa's dog.
Did Jackie bring a dog?
I don't think Jackie brought a dog.
Did Jenn
Fessler didn't bring a dog.
So somebody else brought a dog too, I thought.
Probably this new girl, Lena, that they're using for a witch hunt with Danielle.
All right, let's just, we're going to get there in a second. Oh, then while they're at the party, they do the doggy contest, which we knew Olivia was going to win. Her Biscuit was going to win.
Surprise, surprise, Jenn Aydin's daughter won.
So then they're talking about Jackie, how she wasn't invited to Danielle's party. Jenn Aydin says to her friend Lena, you know Danielle. She says, well, I don't know her personally. She was at a Housewives event, and I opened my salon for her. so that she could get her hair touched up. And then at the event, which I bought tickets for, which was a charity event, I was sitting there hanging out. And then Jenn is, kind of reinforcing, we were in this VIP section where we were all hanging out together, but she didn't have the right pink band on her arm. So one of the waitresses came up to her and said, listen, you can't be here. And she's like, well, I'm not leaving. The whole fact that, Jenn Aydin even says it. She's like, I wanted these girls to know what's going on. They don't really know the real Danielle. They don't know all the things that she does. I want them to know, and I didn't want it to come from me.
So now we have a witch hunt on Danielle because they set her up last year and she didn't realize it until the reunion. And she said to her husband on camera, they set me up. So now this is a witch hunt on Danielle.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. And that was horrible. And even Jenn Aydin making fun of Danielle or doing her impersonation of Danielle.
Which is making fun of somebody because her impressions are very insulting.
Yeah, no, they are insulting.
Do we know if Lena is the same hairdresser saying that Danielle doesn't pay her bills, pay her for doing her hair?
It may or may not be. We don't know. We don't know that. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know. But the whole time they were discussing that, like Delores isn't saying anything. I'm sure Delores was at that event too, wouldn't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Then at the end, Jenn's like, listen, Lena does Teresa's hair sometimes too, and she's a part of this friend group. I want the ladies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Come on. She's not a part of this friend group. You brought her in because you want to now take down Danielle.
Yep.
Because she didn't fall in line like you wanted her to after you set her up.
Yep.
After you set her up.
Yep.
So then Jenn says that Rachel didn't come because of Teresa. And Delores is sitting there. Up until recently, Jackie didn't want anything to do with Teresa, Delores said. She feels like she is in the Twilight Zone. And I'm glad that Delores finally said that because it's
thank
true.
God she pointed it out. It's 100% true. And everybody's sitting there as if it's not.
Right.
Yeah. And all right. So Teresa calls Margaret a dog. Nobody talks about them. How about this? How about when, I don't know what they were talking about. It must have been the baseball game. But Gia's like, well, I don't want her to be there alone, in case somebody does something. Like insinuating that Joe and Melissa are going to do something to Teresa at the baseball game. Like nobody's worried about Joe and Melissa doing anything. Your mother's the cunning one. Your mother and her husband are the one that are threatening people.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
shut the fuck up, Gia, and get off the screen. I'm going to have a hard time with this. My cousin Gina was texting me. She's like, too much. I hadn't watched the episode yet. Eric and I were watching the NBA playoffs. But she wrote too much Gia in this. Too much kids in general, but definitely too much Gia in this episode. I said, I have a feeling that's not the last we're seeing of her, right?
Well, it's not because Andy made it known that we're going to see quite a bit of Gia.
I'm actually hoping because
and she's got a confessional look. So I wonder how many confessional looks she has.
She's got a I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be mean, but she needs a stylist and so does her mother. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm wondering.
Wait, that's not mean?
I was trying to be. That was the nicest thing I could possibly say. But no, I don't know who on social media. There's a couple of people, and you know their names because they're probably being paid by Louis to say good things about Teresa and Jennifer Aydin. But honestly, other than about 3 of them, I see no good stuff about Teresa and Jenn Aydin. Everybody last night was like, get Gia out of here. Nobody wants to see Gia. So does Bravo not look at these social media sites and see what... So they're saying that the ratings are down, right? These are the worst ratings Jersey has ever had. Don't you think that has something to do with them bringing Teresa back? I do.
But the thing is, the season's filmed already. I mean, what do you do at this point?
Oh, no, they got to air it. But
well, that's it. That's it.
Like, people are saying that, it's because of Melissa. I'm like, no, that's not what I see on social media. I'm seeing that it's because of Teresa. Like, people will say, I stopped watching 3 years ago because of Teresa. I'm not watching again because of Teresa. I never see anybody say I'm not watching because of Melissa and Joe. Ever.
I don't really read that much about it, to be quite honest with you. I don't read the
comments.
comments.
Know I'm on there.
I know you are. I know you are. I don't usually go into the comments because I'm not really interested in them. I will read some of the articles if I think that they're a factual source that's given the articles. But there's so much bullshit out there. I mean, you can scroll through Facebook and Instagram, and I can't tell you how many times I see that like Bill and Jenn Aydin are separated.
Oh, I actually just saw that yesterday.
Yeah, but again, I
hope
haven't
that's
seen
not
it.
true, quite honestly.
I hope it's not true either, but I haven't seen it on any credible news sources.
Right.
So, like I won't even click on those because they're clickbait. They're 100% clickbait, and I'm not playing that game.
I really wish they would get rid of Teresa and bring Jenn Aydin back by herself, because watch how fast friends they become, all of them. Well, I guess we're going to see her and Melissa try this season, but I don't think it ends very well, judging on the last dinner.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess we're going to have to wait and see, right? So then Delores does say if John and Louis can't get their shit together at my event, she's going to be pissed, which I don't blame her. I mean, it's a charity event. Yeah. But before we get there, we see Melissa and Joe are dropping off Antonio at school in Delaware.
I legitimately cried at the. I
mean, watching Joe and Melissa sob. I mean, he couldn't even talk. He couldn't even talk.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd be able to film that, quite honestly.
Well, she said on the podcast, and they're so thankful that they have it filmed because they'll have that memory forever,
Yeah.
A professional, nobody gets that, right?
Right.
I mean, Gabriella didn't get that because she went off, or did she not leave yet? Maybe we do get Gabriella?
She left yet, but well, she's going to Michigan. Oh, I see. You mean like the goodbye send off? She probably hasn't left yet. I'm sure we'll see that.
You think?
I would imagine if they did it for Melissa, they'll do it for Teresa.
Maybe not.
Because I think they just shipped off her stuff so far, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, but why wouldn't she go there to like be there when it gets there? Unless that dinner was the send off.
Unless that was, because when the stuff was leaving, they said 3 days she's leaving. So maybe it'll be on the next episode. We'll see it.
But I would imagine Teresa would have flown out there. Like every time Anthony and Gabby go back to school, somebody, either Patty or Mike, fly out there with them. Or, well, Anthony was driving because it was Boston. But
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Because we never saw Gia go to Rutgers, but maybe that was because it was the pandemic.
We didn't see Gia go to Rutgers. I did not watch when Teresa was locked up. I didn't watch that. I did not see one episode of that.
Well,
I had no interest.
She didn't go to Rutgers when Teresa was locked up.
Joe was away. We didn't see it, which is interesting because Joe Gorga's the one that moved her in.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Why didn't we see that?
Maybe because they weren't filming at that time. Because
probably not.
I don't know. I don't have answers to these questions.
We're asking too much of you right now.
Then we see, before we get there, I like that Antonio has her childhood friend rooming with her, JC. I love that. I like that. As a mom, I would find comfort knowing that she has somebody there with her.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, from where they live, what is it, 3-4 hours? It's definitely less than 4 hours. Oh, I get it. Please. You know how I feel.
Yeah.
But I get it. But at least she's not in state, but she's literally right outside of state.
Right. She's the next state over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we see Danielle talking to Nate about what's coming up with the fashion week, and she's got the big schedule out and how nobody from her family is going to be there because her mom had already planned this cruise and she's not talking to her dad or her brother, and Nate's mom is not well enough to go, and it's sad.
I really think she's got to get over the business with her father.
She's
got to get over it because life's too short. Anything can happen to him at any point. I mean, look at what happened to poor Margaret's, ex, Jan.
Right, Jan,
it was a pulmonary embolism. Like, that could happen to any one of us at any time. We don't even know what's coming, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like, get over the business with your father.
I mean, Melissa does say, I don't know if it's upcoming or we saw it already, but I do see Melissa say to her that she would give anything to have her father back.
Yes. I think that is coming up soon. Yeah.
So I think maybe, and also Danielle did make it pretty clear that her father is talking to her.
Yeah, I guess he's texting her and sending her messages. She's just not responding. So the ball really is in her court. 100%.
So it can be taken care of if she chooses to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then Delores is talking about how she's happy that all of her friends there are there to support her, but she feels like at this point, this is the day of the softball game, the charity softball game. At this point, she feels like she's putting them all in this pressure cooker because there's so much drama going on between them. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Did you hear that she said they went from 33 tickets last year to 4,000?
Yeah. When they said 33, I'm thinking, did he mean 3,300?
It had to be because
It had to be.
There was
he did.
I mean, the first year she did it, maybe not so much.
Right.
Because nobody really knew. We didn't know about it until after it happened.
Right.
But the second year, I'm sure people were paying attention. I do think we should try to go this year. Tess wants to go. I do think we should find out. It's probably in August coming up. But 33 to 4,000 is a huge jump.
I think it was 3,300. I think it was 3,300. That's because I did note that. And I was like, they have to mean 3,300. There's no way.
Exactly.
So then they're in the locker room and Danielle's talking to Marge about the dog party. And she said that Jackie was there. Then Danielle asks Jackie why she was there. And Jackie says,
Who invited you?
Yeah, she's like, I'm friends with Jenn. I couldn't believe that's so typical Danielle. I cannot believe she said that to her.
Oh, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
She's like, Jenn and I have been friends since 2018.
Okay.
That I call bullshit on. I call bullshit on that.
Exactly.
She's like, I'm friends with everybody except for you. Which, Danielle's I don't know if that's
okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that's so true, but all right, if that's what you want to think.
Yep.
Then Marge says to Jackie, you and Danielle weren't in a good place at the time. So Marge is trying to stick up for Danielle. And Jackie's like, this is what I mean. Like, you're never there for me. Like, why are you sticking up for Danielle for not inviting me? You're never there for me. So I don't know if this is when Marge and Jackie start to... I mean, I know the books. I know there's the book issue because she's still upset about the book.
I know. I just can't imagine that that's such a thing, though. I think maybe at this point, Margaret knows she could see the writing on the wall with Jackie and Teresa and Jennifer. And that's why she's like, I already got Fessler, messy Fessy over here, making nice with Teresa, and I'm not even as close with you as I am with her. Although Jackie and Margaret did seem pretty close, but I would imagine that we've seen it with our own eyes. Jackie was very bitter when they took her full-time spot away from her. I mean, she treated Danielle poorly last season.
She did. She said it looked like she picked her clothes up off the floor dirty.
Right. And that was a direct result of her not being a full-time cast member anymore. I think that Margaret probably didn't, when they weren't filming that first year Danielle was on and this year, she probably did not reach out to Margaret a lot. She was probably very bitter, just like, the Tamara and Shannon argument. Like, when I got fired from the show, you never called me. It was probably the same thing. So Margaret was probably like, fuck you. I am going to defend her. I like her.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that that's probably what happened because then Marge, she does bring up again that, where were you when Jan died? And how come I don't have a copy of your book? So we know that these are things that are really, she's said this now how many times about Jan passing away and she didn't feel like Jackie was there. And again, that she doesn't have a copy of her book.
And Jackie did say something to her like, oh, are you the reason I got a book? And
she did.
And Margaret said, no, I'm not. And I actually haven't heard Margaret say anything but nice things about Jackie's book, about Jackie as a writer. She said, like, every interview I see, even now, on Watch What Happens Live.
Yes. She says she's very talented.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she is an attorney by education. She's a licensed attorney. I don't think she's a practicing attorney, but she is an attorney.
She probably was at one point, maybe before she had kids.
Yeah. But then after this whole thing's going on, Jenn Aydin is loving seeing Marge and Jackie going at each other. I mean, come on. How petty is that? How petty is that?
She is so fake and phony. And that fake and phony voice she does, like, it's awful. And it's like Teresa's fake and phony voice. They both have a very distinct fake and phony voice. They're not real. They're
No.
terrible, fake, and phony people.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. And then after that, Rachel's talking about she's out on the field and she's talking about how she can't play because her RA is really flaring up.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her because, that's one of those things. Most autoimmune diseases are not visible. You can't see them. You can't see them. And people think, oh, because she's this young, in shape person, get your butt out there and play. But you don't see the pain that she's going through. You have no idea what's going on inside of her body.
And not only that, it's stress induced.
Absolutely.
All of them are. So if you know anything about it, and knock on wood, I don't have one and I'm grateful for it. But if you know that and you know what situation she's going through right now while filming, you would understand.
Right.
Like that's stress induced. And like you said, it's not visible symptoms.
Right.
It's chronic pain though.
Yes. Yes. Marge goes up.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Marge goes up to Jenn Fessler and says, this is who you want to be friends with. After the whole thing with Jackie and Danielle, Jenn Fessler just kind of rolls her eyes because I think this is what she's chosen. This is who she wants to be friends with.
Yep. He called and threatened my son at work.
Yeah.
How about before they went to the game when Louis, who's he talking? Oh, he's talking about John Fuda. He says to Teresa, he's so fucking corny. He says to Teresa, I don't start fights, but I'll finish this one. John Fuda would fucking kill you. I don't know either one of you, but I can tell you right now, John Fuda will kill you.
I think so too.
Yeah. He's so corny.
Too. He is corny. He is corny. Did he make like the winning hit though?
I mean, that's what production wants us to believe.
Okay. You don't believe it?
It's very difficult for me to believe that.
We're going to have to get some clarification. Any Real Housewives out there that would like to answer us at We Wine Whenever that were at the actual game, can you please let us know if Louis did in fact make the game-winning home run? Because he made a home run, right?
I guess, but he runs like a girl. I couldn't I couldn't focus
all right, so I imagine it's not going to
be
be Teresa that's answering us. But if anybody else, any other housewives, all right.
I welcome that.
All right. We're going to have to get this up on every social media platform. This question that we have at We Wine Whenever. Let us know.
Yeah.
Did he really make the game winning? Or anyone from production who wants to answer us. I'll take that too.
Right.
Okay.
And by the way, we're not seeing nearly enough Frank and Brittany this season so far. I know we're only 3 episodes in. 4. But I want to see more. Oh, 4? This was 4?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
4. Don't you listen to my intro when I tell us the season and the episode? You never do. I always say the season and the episode, and then halfway in, you're like, oh, what episode are we on?
Frank and Brittany, this is a bunch of bullshit. I'm saying it again. I said it a while ago. This is what we need. We need Jennifer, Teresa, and Margaret gone.
Okay.
Gone. Rachel and Danielle, full-time cast member. And Jackie, get the fuck out of here. Jenn Fessler, get the fuck out of here. Danielle and Rachel and Brittany, Frank's fiance. 3 full-time cast members. 2 of their friends, like legit 2 of their friends that meshes well with the group. And then keep Melissa as a friend of, because she does have ties in there.
Okay.
And I think we'll have a completely young, refreshed show.
Wait, you want Melissa as a friend of?
Well, I don't want to see Melissa go because I'm a huge fan. But if we bring in all these younger girls, I don't know how she would fit.
I don't think she would come back as a friend of.
I think if they did a reboot and got rid of Teresa completely, I think she might.
Okay. We'll have to wait and see.
That's just I mean, you could keep her as a full-timer because I love Melissa. She's one of my favorite housewives overall. But I think if you did this, it would just be like what New York did, just like a brand new, fresh, young group. And I think now we have a good chemistry between Danielle and Rachel, and Brittany and Rachel have been friends for years. Like, we have to get out of the dark place somehow. The conniving and the set, like Teresa's been setting Melissa up since season 3, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. That is the fact. She's been setting her up since season 3. We're done with it. We're over it. It's too dark. We need something light and airy.
Okay, I'm in.
I think Housewives as a rule has to rebrand and stop with the, you know, cattiness and the setting up and the backstabbing. They got to stop it because it's not good TV.
No, I don't like all the fighting either. Like I've always said this. I've always said my favorite scenes are when they're real family scenes and they're getting along and they're, you know, they're having fun. I don't really like to see them fighting either. I don't think anybody does. I mean, do people really like that?
I think people do like it. I don't know how Teresa could still be on the show if people didn't like it. But my favorite scenes of this franchise are when they're at the Gorga's shore house, the parties.
Yeah.
Mainly because I want to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if we showed up there one day?
I don't know. We might want to try, though.
Okay. Maybe we'll get someone with a boat. Will come around the back on the boat on the water side.
That's a great idea.
And we'll just start like waving and yelling and ask if we can come. We'll hold
up our We Wine Whenever sign.
There you go.
We'll hold up a Team Gorga sign.
Yep. We'll see what happens.
I am Team Gorga. I know you like to.
I'm not playing a team. I'm not playing a team. I told you I watched this for.
And she really is Team Gorga.
I'm not picking a team.
No, but I really think that's what they need to do. I mean, keep Melissa on. I love Melissa, but I just I think they need to focus on other things.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So then, what else do we have? Then, I like Joe Gorga and Bill Aydin. They're talking a little bit. I like to see those two together.
Yeah.
And then Jenn and Melissa decide that they're going to have a conversation. They're going to meet up for coffee so that they can kind of discuss what's going on between them, which I think is a good idea. I think that they do need to meet up and just have a conversation. And then the only other thing I have is that they raised over $200,000 for this event, which was over her goal. I think she said her goal was 150.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm happy that, this event went off without a hitch and that they were able to raise all this money. And, we'll have to wait and see what happens next.
Yeah. So technically, they should start filming soon for the next season because that baseball game happens in August, I believe. It's before Labor Day. I know that. And I mean, they are partying at the shore right now, as we're seeing, as this season begins. So technically, they would have to start filming soon. So Bravo really needs to make a decision.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I think you heard it on the podcast. Melissa and Joe are going to Italy.
I know.
In August. Like they have plans to go to Italy for two different trips to Italy, 2 separate trips, one to Rome and one to, I forget where.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Unless maybe if they are going to, maybe they're going to wait and do it in, September, October.
Right.
And do a Christmas time because they haven't done a Christmas
since the Manzos were on.
Right. So maybe they're going to push the whole thing until so that they're not doing it over the summer.
Right.
Maybe they already said to them, you guys have the summer off, do what you got to do.
Which, I think about like our kids' ages, like that's got to be really hard, like especially for Melissa and Joe, because their boys are so involved in sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Rachel, with Jaden.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Danielle's kids are still little enough, even if they're in sports, it's not so intense yet.
Right.
That it's going to be more difficult for them to do it throughout the school year, I think. With all the sports, especially because I think, I don't know about Joey, but Gino's in high school. Like and the kid plays multiple sports.
Well, Joey's in high school too.
Is he in high school now too?
I think so.
That's crazy, isn't
it? Man.
Well, he wasn't even 1 year old when they joined the show, and that was 10 years ago. So he's, now I think he's 14, right? Because what's Gino? 16?
Or isn't he 17? Isn't he driving yet or no?
I think he is. He either has his permit or he's driving.
Yeah, so he's either 16 or 17. I think they're both in high school now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, they've been on the. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to math right now. It's Memorial Day.
No mathing today.
But to me, with those factors, it would be better for them to film over the summer. But then your kids are like, another summer break, we got to film for this show. Like, that sucks.
Right. I guess we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
All right.
Curious.
I don't have anything else. So I would say until next time, thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever.
Bye.
Good night.